Greetings, my friends. This is Highlander from MTG Cardsmith doing another custom Magic the Gathering card review. And today, we are reviewing cards by ShadowReign. And in particular, this one, Shinkoru, Emperor of Evolution. Another commander card. Man, you commander players are just all over the place. And when I say all over the place, I don't mean like, oh, you're just all over the place. I can't follow what you're saying. And what I mean is like, there's a lot of you. Come on. Let's see some nice little limited cards. Not that there's anything wrong with making these commanders, but there's a lot of them. I'm just saying there's a lot of these. I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I go on the MTG Cardsmith main webpage, and I'm looking at like the most popular cards for the day, if I ever see a card that's like multiple colors like this and is a legendary creature, I literally ignore it. I never even look at it. And it's not because I hate Commander or anything like that. It's just that there's so many of them. There's just so many. It makes them like not. It removes the novelty. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's just personal preference. I'm not saying to stop making commander cards. Okay, if you like commander, keep making commander cards. All right, don't listen to me. I'm just an old man saying get off my lawn. But anyway, I just thought I would share that with you guys. But who knows? This one might be really cool. So let's take a look. This is a Sultai card. It's a 3/2, an Elder Insect. He doesn't exactly look like an insect. Excuse me. I guess his feet look a little bit insectoid. So there's that. Does he have... He's going to have 4. Doesn't an insect have to have 6 legs? Hold on. Define insect. I could be wrong. A small arthropod animal that has 6 legs! This man ain't no insect, boys. This is just a man with weird feet. Okay? Alright, anyway, moving on. Let's read this card. If a player would scry a number of cards, that player mills that many cards instead. Okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. Then create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Whenever another insect you control dies, you may reveal a card exiled with Shinkoru. If a creature card is revealed this way, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, so at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. Then create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Whenever another insect you control dies, you may reveal a card with Shinkoru. If a creature card is revealed this way, put it onto the battlefield tapped. So you can just reveal any card, right? I mean, you just have like a pile of face-down cards and you can just pick a random one. I mean, I guess that's how this works, right? Okay, so this text here, I'm guessing this is just here so you can't like set this up with like a brainstorm or something. Is that what this is doing? If that's the case, why do it for other players? Like this. Okay, so this part's quite powerful, right? Like if you load your deck up with creatures, then you have a pretty good chance of hitting this most of the time. I mean, so, okay, you're not going to get a creature every turn, right? Because sometimes you're going to have land, sometimes you're going to have, artifacts. Everybody plays Soul Ring or whatever. Sometimes you're going to have removal spells, right? But if you make a really creature heavy deck, then this card will often, let's say like, okay, okay, so if you have a 100 card deck, how many lands do you usually play in Commander? Okay, now I'm gonna like kind of just do some simple math here, and I don't know if this is actually the right, oh, you know what, why don't I just look it up? How many lands how many lands average in Commander deck? Between 33 and 42 lands. Okay, so let's just take the middle of that, right? 42 plus 33 equals blah, divided by blah. So let's say you're playing 37 lands, okay? So if you're playing 37 lands, blah, blah, minus blah. Some of you were probably knew this answer before I even typed it in, but, you know, and I could have figured it out, but I felt like using the calculator, so get off me. Okay, so you have 62 non-land cards, let's say on average. And let's just say that like 80% of your cards are like your non-lands or creatures. It's pretty high, right? So you're looking at about 50 creatures. So you're looking at about a 50-50 shot of hitting creatures. Obviously, this changes as the game progresses. You know, this value will change, but at least the first one, yeah, this isn't the best math because, you know, you're going to start with some cards in your hand. You don't actually start with a 99 card deck. You start with like a 91 card deck, right? Because you always draw on your first turn. But still, you're looking at around a 50-50 chance there to get a creature if you load your deck up with creatures heavily, right. So this is pretty close to like every 2 turns you get to put a creature onto the battlefield for free. Now, presumably with this guy, you want to play a bunch of big fatties, right? But you can't play only big fatties. Right? Because you gotta have like ramp, right? Because you don't want to get in a situation where like you play this guy on 3 and you're like, all right, time to do my thing, and then they just kill your guy, and you're like, okay, well now I can't cast any of my spells. So yeah, so you still need to have a curve, right? So yeah, I'm like trying to figure out how powerful this is, basically. And the more I think about it, I think that this is probably fine. I mean, it's pretty random. That's the thing, and especially because you can't set it up. I think it's probably fine. This guy's like Shinkoru, Emperor of Gambling, you know. Oh, I get it. I can see why, because the insect turns into something. That's kind of the idea, right? Yeah, but he's really the emperor of you know, he's the emperor of slots. He's the emperor of what do they call it? Plinketto? I don't know. Okay, so I think this guy's cool though. I like that the insects are like turning into creatures. It's pretty random. I mean, this is not like a commander that would excite me personally as a player, but I could definitely see some people really liking this card. Really the only issue I have with this card, I think, is this line right here. I don't like how this kind of just like randomly hoses other people for no reason. Just randomly hoses people that scry. I'm pretty sure you put this on here to keep this card random so that you can't set up you know, the creatures you're going to be playing for free. And I respect that because you want to keep this guy cheap, right? But I think just like randomly hosing other players' scries is kind of lame, personally. So yeah, I think I'll give this one a 4 out of 5. I like it. I like the design. It's neat. I get the flavor. The art looks nice, though he's not an insect. We already found that out. And this is really the only thing that kind of hurts it for me here is this line right here. If this was just like if you would scry a number of cards, you know. And this isn't actually completely. What am I talking about? I mentioned brainstorm. This doesn't even stop brainstorm. You can still brainstorm, so you can still do some kind of setting up. You just can't scry. Maybe if you really want to keep this card random, you keep this line here, but you actually exile from the bottom of your library. All right, because you can't like scry to the bottom. I guess there are actually plenty of cards that let you put things on the bottom, right? So really, the only way you would be able to keep this completely random is if you like every upkeep you had to like shuffle your deck, but you don't want to do that. That sounds like terrible. So yeah, I mean, there's still ways to set this up, but like, I guess like the type of things that come to mind are like the, the like Harbinger type cards, right? The like cards that let you search your library for something and like put it on top of your library, and then like that just sets you up perfectly for like this dude, you know. Of course, you also still have to like lose an insect. So you still have to like sacrifice, have a sacrifice creature, you know, or yeah, a way to sacrifice insects, or you know, your opponent has to block, but they're never blocking your 1/1 insects unless they're like really low on life, you know. This card is like bonkers in a wrath situation, right? I mean, if you have like 3 insects in play, even, and they like wrath your board, let's say you have like 4 insects and they wrath your board, you now probably get 2 creatures out of the deal. That's pretty good. I mean, obviously it gets better the more insects you have. And you can also, well, you can play insects in your deck, but you're limited by the number of cards you've exiled, essentially the number of turns you've taken after you've played this guy. So yeah, I think this guy's fine. Like there's definitely situations where this guy's like very powerful, but there's also situations where this guy isn't that powerful. And it definitely requires you to do some work, right? Like you're not. This is a pretty far cry from like put the top card of your library onto the battlefield. So I like this design. I think there's enough kind of hoops to jump through here that this actually works. I just hate how this randomly poses some people's scry. So I think if that wasn't there, this card would probably be a 5 out of 5. But because for that reason, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. So that's my review of Shinkoru, Emperor of Plinkato. And I'll see you guys next time.